Do you have a dream? Do you have a vision? Do you have a goal for your life? And will your goal be realized? What do you need to realize it? Is the goal your own? Have you counted the costs of that goal? Do you know what you need to be able to achieve that goal? Do you really want to be successful at achieving that goal? My name is Samuel Ayim, CEO of the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, and I personally want to invite you to our upcoming masterclass, Put Your Dream to the Test. It's a set of questions that we're going to give you answers to ahead concerning your vision, your dream, so that you are sure that your vision and your dream will be achieved. Make a date with us and register, because it's going to give you the resources, the ideas, the tools that will ensure that your dreams don't remain as dreams, your goals don't remain as goals, but that they are achievable. Make a date with us, register now for our masterclass, and you will not regret it. There is a popular saying in leadership that if you think you are leading and there's nobody following you, you are only going on a walk. On this platform, you are going to learn principles of leadership. You are going to encounter different leaders. You are going to learn about how you can grow as a leader, how you can make an impact. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm the host for the leadership platform. I am a leadership coach, a lawyer by profession, a John C. Maxwell certified coach. I have been in corporate life in senior positions for several years, and now I run the Center for Transformational Leadership, where we train and coach leaders to become better leaders. And I invite you to go on a journey with us as we discuss the subject of leadership in the coming weeks.
This and every Saturday, you have opportunity to ask questions, share your views on important leadership matters. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Good evening, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm excited this evening for two reasons. I'm excited because of the speaker we have, and I'm excited because of the subject we are going to discuss. And both the speaker and the subject aligned. She's the best person to speak to us on the subject. So I want to welcome all of you onto the leadership platform. We're going to be together for about 90 minutes. So please connect with us, share the link to your friends, share the links to your neighbors, to your relatives, to your co-workers, your colleagues, your bosses, your subordinates, your church people. Share this link to everybody. As we go to the end of this year, we have been here 52 times throughout the year of 2021. We've been here sharing this platform with you. And cumulatively, we have been here almost 80 times since we started this platform. So we have shared so much lessons for you. We know so many of you connect. And when you connect, you don't show up, you don't introduce yourself. So we don't get to the pleasure of introducing you. So please do us that favor. by introducing yourself, whether you are joining on Facebook, on YouTube. Please just introduce yourself, tell us your name and where you are connecting from. That way, we are able to connect with you. This evening, I'm here. I have some members of my team here. I have Mami Bafo here. I have Sarah Jesiapia is here. You all who connect often know her. For those who are joining for the first time, we want to thank you and we want to say we appreciate you very much. So please introduce yourself. Let us know you. I can see the name is Thomas uh, Keka. I hope I pronounce it correctly. If I didn't, please correct me, and I'm sorry for butchering your name. I'm not sure where you are coming from. I see VOI. All right. I see Na Latele Latte says good evening to us joining from Ajurigano. Mami is of the team joining from Holland. Sarah is here joining from Switzerland. Dinah Ayim Hammond, she's been regular recently on the platform. Great evening, Dinah. Thanks for joining us from Accra, Ghana, Abokobi in particular. I can see, all right, that's Catherine. I can see Grove Matters. Greetings from Accra. I'm here to listen to Catherine. Well, very excited. He's Efia. All right, Efia. Great. Thank you, Efia, for joining to listen to Catherine. Jerry Boachidankwa is here, connecting from Tema. As usual, Edem Kofi is here. Good evening, Edem Dake from Medina. Willie Glay is here. Thank you, Willie. You always join us. Thank you for Pobiman Accra. And we have Elkana Balandia. We should begin to find an award for Balandia joining us all the way from Tanzania. It's one of our regulars all the time here. Dorothy Uchidankwa is also here from Tema Community 5. And so please go ahead and share with us your location, where you're joining from, and we will be glad to introduce you. All right. So this evening we are going to talk about goals. Last week we talked about the power of vision, and this whole month and next month we know that this is the time that most of us are ending the year, reviewing our lives, trying to see what went well, what didn't go well, and also make some projections for the coming year. I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and she was saying that for the last 5 years, she's been practicing, sending a letter to my future self. And so at the end of every year, she'll write a letter to her future self. And, and at the end of the year, she's reviewing the letter, and she was telling me how, she's seen some of the things that she wrote to herself, future self, and how they have happened. And she was going through her files and see some of the old letters, and she was so excited. So what are the letters you're writing to your future selves? All right. That is the idea here. Goals that you set for yourself, the targets that you set for yourself, they have the power to drive you. And today we are going to talk to a lady who understands how goal setting works, because she has lived it, she teaches it, she practices it. She's not just talking the talk, she walks the talk on goal setting. All right. She doesn't want me to say too much about her, because if I want to do that, I think we will need more than just 90 minutes to talk about Catherine. She's the first thing I want to say, and she wants me to say it, is that she's my friend. And indeed, she's my dear friend. I love her. She's a great woman. Catherine is the head of CEDA Ghana. CEDA is a corporate governance organization based in South Africa with subsidiaries in other African countries, trying to develop directors and leaders. And She is the head of the Ghana office. This of SIDA Ghana is Africa's leading educator and guide on high performance boards. You see, she coaches board members, directors, how they should achieve their performance. So you can see where she's coming from. She has 25 years experience in the area of corporate governance and is also an executive coach and trainer, as well as being a certified governance professional. She has several certifications. We can't list all of them. She has several certifications in the area of human potential. And these include a certified Barrett Values Culture Transformation Tools consultant. She will tell us a bit more about that as we go along, how you can transform yourself through values. She's a John C. Maxwell certified coach, and she is also a Jack Canfield success trainer. I mean, you can see that. I mean, if I want to go on Catherine, all the time will be gone already. Much is gone. She's a great woman. She's a loving woman. I just love her attitude to life and to people. She loves people. Catherine, thank you so much for spending part of your time with us. And by the way, she's traveling in London, and she still has some time to join us. So I call her Obroni. So Obroni, you are very welcome to the leadership platform. Thank you so much for being with us.
So, thank you so much. I actually have goosebumps about that introduction. I am so humbled. But as for the Brony bit, thing.
All right, we'll test the tree and see along the line. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam. I'm truly humbled.
So, thank you so much. You're welcome. The audience are ready for you, Catherine.
Excellent. Okay, so I have my slides up screen, and how can they be shared? I'm just waiting for them to be shared. Okay. I just want to say hi to everyone. Hi to Diana. Yeah, so happy to see you all here. Okay, so Sam mentioned earlier that I am here to talk about goal setting, and I pride myself, or shall I say, I try to pride myself that I am the queen of goal setting. And before I get into that, I'd just like to start with some humor. So this is me leaving my house at 8:15, hoping that I make it to work by 8 a.m. How many of you can relate to that? Okay, so you know what? If you eat well and get lots of sleep and do exercise and drink lots of water, as we're advised to, guess what? You'll die anyway. So open the why. You know, many of us just take life so seriously. And given that this is a season of merriment, you know, let's just have some fun and just enjoy some of what life has to offer. Okay. So this one says, I saw this guy today at Starbucks. No iPhone, no tablet, no laptop. So Starbucks is a coffee shop here in England, and it's like Vide in Accra. And this gentleman just sat there drinking coffee like a psychopath. How many times these days, how often do we actually see people without the iPhone or the laptops? We don't. So like psychopaths. This comic, I love this. So this lady, so it's from the Peanuts comic strip. Do all fairy tales begin with once upon a time? Charlie Brown says, no. Many of them begin with, if I'm elected, I promise. And I promise that if you give me 45 minutes of your time, you will walk away with one thing that will change your life. This is the Addiction Recovery Center. First floor is for Facebook, second floor Twitter, third floor Instagram. And I know you'll agree with me that our phones are a huge distraction these days. So my invitation to you this evening is that put away the notifications, put away your phone, and let's engage and have fun, because you never know what you will walk away with. So we're going to look at deciding what we want, goal setting, how to turbocharge our goals, rejecting rejection, and using feedback to our advantage. So about me, I was born in Ghana. My father is Ga, my mother's English, and here are some childhood photographs. I'm the eldest of 2 girls, and I do have a Ga name, which is Atiede. And I just thought I would share these photographs of my family and I to give you a sense of, how I grew up. And Sam mentioned earlier that I spend a lot of, I have a lot of certifications. I really invest in myself. And the 2 mentors that have made a profound difference in my life have been John Maxwell and Jack Canfield, who wrote the book, The Success Principles. And these are really proud moments of my life when I certified as a John Maxwell coach and trainer, and I graduated from the Canfield Success Principles program. All right, so goal setting. Well, goal setting starts with deciding what you want. So for example, you want to travel, right? But first of all, you need to decide where you want to go. That's the same thing with goal setting. We want to achieve a goal, but we need to decide what we want. So when we were born and we were growing up, as babies, we knew what we wanted. We cry, we get fed. You fed something and then you spit it out because you don't like it. Or something tastes very good and you eat a lot of it. But when we were babies, actually, and if you look at little children, they seem to know what they want. But somewhere along the way, as we're becoming toddlers, you start hearing things like, don't touch that. Keep your hands to yourself. In my day, it was eat everything on your plate, whether or not you like it, because I grew up in the famine in Ghana and there was no food. And then you also hear, when you feel in a certain way, you also hear people say to you, you don't really feel that way. You don't really want that. Shame on you, right? Or this one, stop crying. Don't be such a baby. People always telling you what you should do or what you should want. And then you're growing up, you become, teenager, and then you hear, well, you can't have everything you want just because you want it, right? This is an old favorite. Money doesn't grow on trees. Or what about this one? Stop being so selfish. Or, come, stop doing what you are doing and come here and do what I want you to do. That's how we grew up. But what happens? We become numb to our desires because people are constantly telling us what we should want, what we should do. And so deep down inside us, we stop knowing what it is that we really, really want. And then we start listening to what other people want for us. And no wonder these days, a lot of people get in touch with me and, want to talk about the careers of life. And I ask them, what do you want? And guess what? They don't know. And they don't know this because we're all numb to our desires. So clarity around our goals and goal setting starts with knowing, what do we want? What do you really, really want? Have you thought about what you really, really want? Not what your teacher wants, your mentor wants, your pastor wants, but what do you want? So the point here is, don't live someone else's dream. Don't live your employer's dream. Don't live your partner's dream. Don't live your significant other's dream. Live your dream and don't settle for less than you want. Follow your inner GPS. Your inner GPS is like your goal production system. That's what I call it. It's trying to guide you. You get whispers all the time. You get leadings, but we don't follow that. And one thing about knowing what you really, really want is that it kicks in your reticular activating system. How many of you have gotten a new car or perhaps thought of buying a new car and suddenly you see that particular car all around you? That's the reticular activating system, because what happens normally is that our mind filters out the things that we don't want because our brain cannot process all the information around us. So what happens is that the reticular activation system just sort of filters out everything. But once you are clear on what you want, it opens up and allows those things that are going to get you to what you really, really want for you to be able to see them. So what I think is really important is that have a big vision. It doesn't matter. It was this guy at Remax, he said, small dreams attract small people and big dreams attract big people. When you have a small dream, you're only going to attract really small people to your dream. But when you have a big dream, that's going to pull people towards you. And General Wesley Clark said it doesn't take any more effort to dream a big dream than it does to dream a small dream. And it really doesn't. It's the same energy. So why dream small? You can dream big. And Robert Fritz says, if you limit your choices only to what seems possible or reasonable, you disconnect yourself from what you truly want. And all that's left is a compromise. Can you imagine just living life as a compromise? Oh. Yeah, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So to set your goals, first of all, I normally start with, well, personally, I've got a 10-year plan. But for most people who are starting out with goal setting, look at what you want in the next year. What do you want from your job or career? What kind of career do you want? Do you want to start your own business? What about the area of your financial, your monthly cash flow, your investments, your property portfolio? What is it that you want in your financial? Look at the area of your relationships and think about what you want to experience in your relationships. Is it a new significant other? What do you want to experience with your spouse? What about your health and fitness? How healthy do you want to be? How fit do you want to be? And here's a really important one: recreation and free time. Many of us, including me, do not set goals in recreation, enough goals in the recreation and free time. Like, for example, this year, I set a goal to play golf every single Friday. And by half the year, I had stopped playing golf. So this is a really important area because I believe that all work and no play makes Catherine a dull girl. What do you want to experience in the area of your personal stuff? Do you want to go back to school? Do you want to do personal development courses? And lastly, but not least, what's in the area of contribution? Is it your church work, your community work? How are you going to make a difference? So it's really important when you're thinking about your life to consider these areas when goal setting. Now, once you set the vision, and the vision is really high level, do you want to share it? And I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, because many people do not share their vision. And what stops people from sharing the vision? For some, it may be that it's too big and people will laugh, or it's too small, or maybe if I share it, I'll actually have to do something about it. So many people have reasons why they do not share their vision. But here's the thing. When you share your vision, you attract the people, the resources, and the things that you need in order to achieve your vision. And I share my vision all the time, and it's amazing. As soon as I do, I get so much help or support. Like, I'm introduced to a person or someone wants to help me. And trust me, you may think that other people may want to sabotage your vision, but I think everyone else is actually too busy thinking about themselves to think about you. And yes, I know there are some saboteurs out there, but share your vision. And it is important to share with the right people, because there will be some naysayers. And if people laugh at you, so what? Just ignore them and move on. Don't let them stop you. Now, what happens is visions don't become realized because they're not turned into specific goals and objectives. So, for example, you may say, I want to earn more money. Now, how many of us want to earn more money? Yeah. But do you want to earn 1 CD more? Because that's what you're going to get, right? Is that enough? So it's really important to turn your vision into specific goals and objectives. And goal setting activates the conscious. We've got these two parts of the mind. We've got the conscious, which is your knowing mind, your thinking mind, and your subconscious, which is the thing that controls your breathing, your regulation, your spirit. I call subconscious, it's like spirit. And it activates those things to make your goal a reality. This is one sure way that you can take ownership for your life, is through goal setting. It's so important to set measurable objectives. We've all heard about SMART goals for every aspect of your vision: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Now, why don't people set goals? Do you know what? I wasn't taught it in school, were you? I don't remember that. And I don't actually remember my parents sitting down and talking about goal setting. Kudos to Sam and his daughter, who writes a letter to herself every single year. My goodness, a letter to her future self. That is such a powerful exercise. So really kudos to her. So she's blessed to have a parent like Sam who models goal setting. Now, another reason that we don't set goals is that sometimes we're discouraged or teased. Now, I would say that one of my significant goal achievements has been in the area of my weight loss. And I actually stopped setting a goal in that area because honestly, people were laughing at me. Like, I didn't really set a goal. I said, yes, next year I'll be 100 kilos lighter. And then people are teasing me because I haven't done it. So then I stopped. I stopped setting a goal. And another reason is a fear of failure, because it will really hurt if you don't achieve it, right? And so a lot of people will not set the goal because they're afraid of failing. So in terms of making a goal a reality, specific and measurable, remember SMART goals, it has to be believable and achievable. Like, for example, if I'm earning 5,000 CDs a month and I set a goal to earn 500,000 CDs a month, my brain is not going to do it. It's going to go, yeah, right. And it'll be immediately, I'll be stopped. So it's got to be somewhat believable and achievable. So yes, have the big vision. Yes, you can earn 500,000 CDs a month, but do it in steps. One of my mentors says, become a hundredaire before you become a millionaire. And communicating your goals to others is so important in helping your goal become a reality. Because guess what? If you don't share it, there's no one really that's going to hold you accountable. You must also have a deadline. Okay, so now how many of you now tell me this? When you know that you've got a visitor coming, and no, I'm not one of those people. Your house suddenly gets cleaned, all the old papers get filed, and everything is spick and span because there's a time limit on there. So it's really important to put a time frame to your goals. So specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. And also, another thing is that once you set a goal, suddenly you start thinking about all the things that may stop you, and then you're able to deal with them head on. So what helps you make your goal a reality? So visualization, picturing, I call this picturing. Using things like affirmations, repetition, sharing your goals, which I've covered before. And we have two types of goals. We have the results goal and a process goal. So for example, a results goal is, I will weigh 55 kilos by 31st December 2023. A process goal, for example, is something such as, I will eat carbohydrates once a week. I will go to the gym 3 times a day. I think you get the idea. So the process goal are the habits that you are going to have in order to achieve your goal. So as I mentioned earlier, the results goal is the end result. Process goal is the habit that you will do, is the process of what you get to your results goal. Abraham Lincoln said, your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other one thing. When you set a goal, It's only your resolution to succeed. Tell yourself you're going to be a success. That's more important than anything else. So I've got some examples of goals. Like, for example, many of us will say, oh yeah, I want a new house. But to be very specific, I will own a 4-bedroom beachfront house in Qatar by January 1st, 2023 at noon. That's a very specific goal. It's got the number of bedrooms, beachfront, the location, and the date. Yeah, I'd like more money. I'd like to increase my income. Well, I will earn 300,000 CDs a month by 5 p.m., 31st December, 2022. That's a proper goal. You'll often hear people saying, oh yeah, we want to reduce staff turnover. By what? I want to reduce staff turnover to 15% a year by 16th August 2023 at 5 p.m. And a lot of us set goals, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to get fit. Well, I will weigh 85 kilos and complete a 10-kilometer run by June 21st, 2023. Now, writing your goals increases your chances of success by 1,100%. Yeah, 1,100%. And please do write down your goals. Your witches in the village will not find your goals and stop them from happening. You'll be doing yourself a disservice if you don't write them down. Here's some research by Dr. Gail Matthews, who from Dominican University, and I'm sure you've heard the survey. I think it was there's an urban myth flying around about these graduates from Yale and people that wrote down their goals and so many achieved them, etc. Actually, that's a myth. And Dr. Gail Matthews actually did some research around that when she found out that this was a myth, and found that only 4% of people who did not write down their goals, did you hear that? Only 4% of people who didn't write down their goals followed through on their goals. And 44% of people who wrote them down followed through on their goals. It's 11 times difference. Yeah. So here we have, so the research showed that there was a group of people, they did a study, I think they followed around 275 people or so. They had people who had unwritten goals, written goals, and people who had written goals and actions, people who had a commitment to a friend and then provided progress reports. Now, when we say commitment to a friend, people who made announcements to their friends, and then progress reports, that's accountability, checking in every single week. And they showed that people who wrote down their goals and actually made commitments and reported on their progress, look at that, 76% likely to achieve their goals. Yeah, 76%. And if you look at the written goals, people that wrote down their goals were 60% likely to achieve their goals. Now, you notice that those with written actions versus written goals, those who have actions are actually less. And it is thought that when you set your goals and you have to start thinking immediately about all your actions immediately, apparently that's a huge deterrent in achieving your goals. So never think about the how, just think about the what. So just a reminder, be specific. I love hot chocolate. So what do I want in my hot chocolate? A large hot chocolate, 3 teaspoons of sugar, extra firm vanilla, whipped cream. Oh yeah, yummy. Be specific. Now, this is how I used to set goals. And this is actually from my journal in 2014. And it says here, I feel like a huge fat heifer. Why can't I lose weight? Now, I'll give you some context. In terms of my professional achievements and my professional goals and business goals, actually, I find them relatively easier to achieve because I have accountability within the structure from my employees, from my business partners. So somehow I find it slightly easier to achieve those goals. It's my personal goals that I really struggle with. And so in 2014, this was, I feel like a huge fat heifer. Why can't I lose weight? That was my goal setting until I met Jack Canfield and started using his goal setting technique of specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely, writing them down and declaring what I want. So I set out on a journey that started after I met Jack Canfield. So you saw that I was relatively slimmer there, right? Goal in 2014. How can I not lose weight? And oh yes, I'm not losing weight. I'm getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this was taken in November 2017. And I said to him, and then I met Jack Canfield in early January 2018, and I started implementing his methods. So as I go through this presentation, I'm going to feed in the specific things that I did in order to achieve my goals. So I set a vision for what I really wanted. I was going to be approaching 50, and I knew that I wanted to be the hottest, fittest 50-year-old ever. So that was the vision. So what was I going to do? The goal was to get to 70 kilos. And yes, I've done it. Yay. So in fact, Ifya here is on the call, and she took that beautiful photograph of me with the white top and the blue dress. So I just included that because Ifya is also my accountability partner. And I'll say that there are many things that I do that I have to be honest, I wouldn't be doing without her accountability. So I achieved it. I achieved my goal. Yay. So this is what happens when you turn your vision into specific measurable goals. So first of all, something comes up, like some sort of fear and considerations, which are like, okay, it's like, what are the things that are going to stop you, and roadblocks? Okay. Now, when you set your goal, you become aware of those, and you actually start writing down how you will get over them. So for example, in trying to get fit, one of the things is, for me, I set that breakthrough goal of losing that amount of weight because I knew that it was going to affect all other areas of my life. For example, I'd need to get a certain amount of sleep every single night, like 7 hours, because if I don't get 7 hours sleep, I cannot get up in the mornings to go and exercise. So it's also then, if I'm going to get 7 hours of sleep every night, that means I can't work so hard. I can't work so late. Therefore, I have to be more organized during the day. I have to say no to more things. I have to turn people down. So I started, for example, packing my food everywhere I go. So for years, and I still do, actually pack my own food whenever I'm going anywhere. So I started planning for all the eventualities that might arise that would get in the way of me achieving my goal. Now, just remember that it is not the achievement of the goal itself or the result itself that is so important. The actual goal is self-mastery. So just remember that even if you may not get the exact outcome, just the process and who you become in the process of achieving that goal is what is important. Okay, so now you have got your vision, you set your goals. Now it's all about releasing the brakes. Now, how many of you have driven with your handbrake on the car, right? So I have an automatic car, and sometimes I forget. I know. And I start the car, and then it's not moving, and then I press my foot down a little harder, and it's not moving. How many of you ever done that? Yeah. And most of us go through life with our psychological emergency brakes on, right? So these are things that stop us. And the law of attraction says that what we think about will come about. And with setting affirmations is one way to remove the psychological brakes that we have on when it comes to achieving our goals. Now, affirmations are statements said in the positive sense, but here's something that I found out that I'd like to share with you. For some people, they are what we call psychologically reversed. Yeah. What's that? No, I don't mean they're mad, but they're psychologically reversed. So whatever goes in their minds is actually translated differently. And the only way I can describe it is, for example, if I say I want a new car, the brain may process it as I don't want a new car. So we don't know whether we're psychologically reversed, but what happens with some people is they make all the affirmations, they make the declarations, they say the prayers, and nothing is moving in their lives. And what happens is that means that some people, and apparently about 10% of the population, are psychologically reversed. I don't know if I'm not, and I don't know if you are. So one thing to get over that is something called tapping. And what you do before you say any of your declarations or your affirmations is just tap on here 35 times to remove any psychological reversing. And science has shown that it actually works. So you tap on the heel of your left hand 35 times. Yeah. And that will remove any reversal in your mind before you state your affirmation. So how do you create these affirmations and positive statements? First of all, it always starts with the word I am. And it must always be in the present tense, like you're achieving it, acting it as if. And it must always be in the positive. So you wouldn't say, for example, I am no longer, I'm no longer fat. It would be, I am releasing weight. And it's supposed to be brief. If they're long statements, you will never say them. And you've got to make them specific. They can't be broad. So, for example, I am slim. That's not very specific, but I am 85 kilos is very specific. And it's important to include an ing word. So that's why it's important in the present tense, and a feeling word. How will you feel when you've achieved your goal? And the easiest one is, Bob Proctor teaches this. I am so happy and grateful. And then the last one is, make affirmations for your own behavior or your own goals and not someone else's. So you wouldn't say, I'm so happy and grateful now that my husband is cleaning up his room, because that would be someone else's goal and not yours. So it's got to be specific to you. So here was my affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm feeling alive and thriving at 70 kg. Yeah. And I would say this so many times a day. Even when I'd want that bar of chocolate, I would say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm feeling alive and I'm thriving at 70 kg. The goal is repetition, 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 repetition. And guess what? More repetition. Well, 3 times a day. I was saying mine probably about 6 times. Yeah, 6 times a day, twice in the morning, at lunchtime, and in the evenings. Just first thing waking up, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm feeling alive and thriving at 70 kg. Same at noon and bedtime. Okay, something's gone wrong. And the reason we need to continually use these affirmations, positive statements, is that, you know what, motivation is like a fire. Yeah, it's like a bath. It's like you have this clean bath, and then you need to keep having a bath again and again. Motivation is like a fire, because unless you continue to add fuel to it, it goes out. Yeah, it does. It does. And a lot of people say, that's why it is that most people don't achieve their goals, because by the end, I think the first 6 weeks of the year, most people have forgotten about their goals. And these affirmations are really important, because whatever you focus on and you talk about with emotion, guess what? You get more of. Yeah. Because when I'm in my zone of, I'm feeling so stressed, everything's going wrong, trust me, everything does go wrong. When I'm really in a space of everything is brilliant, yes, I can do this, we got this, life is great, I get more of that. So whatever you focus on, just remember and talk about, you get more of. So what's another way of getting our goals to become a reality? Ask, 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 ask. Yes. Just ask people to help. Ask people for help when you've got a goal, because if you keep it in you and you don't ask, who's going to know? And rejection. So someone doesn't help you, they don't want to help you, don't. So here's something I'd like to share with you. You're going to ask some people, some will, some won't. So what? Someone is waiting. Someone is waiting to help you achieve your goal. And when someone says no, we say next, right? Don't take rejection personally. Just move on. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that your goal isn't valid. Just say, hey, that's okay. Next one. Next one. And lastly, use feedback to your advantage. Okay. So once we start working on our goals, we're going to get feedback. Now, feedback is important because it lets us know whether we are on track or whether we are off track. And you've got two types of feedback. You've got positive feedback, you've got negative feedback. It's all important because it will let you know whether you're on track or off track. And we have internal feedback and we have external feedback. Now, internal feedback is your spirit knowing something, like your body knowing, like you're constantly in a state of anxiety or stress, means that thing is not good for you. You're constantly tired and exhausted. That means that something is going wrong. And so internal feedback comes from within, and external feedback is, in terms of my weight loss goal, I'm getting slimmer every single week. That's external feedback. So that's coming from the outside, and internal feedback is coming from the inside. Now, once the feedback lets you know that whether you're on course or off course, right? Just like with the airplanes, apparently, I don't know whether this is actually true, but they really fly off course for most of the plane journey, and then they make it to the destination. So feedback just lets you know you're on course or off course. So for example, you started a new job. This is your dream career. And then you just don't feel good going to work every single day. You find the work environment very toxic. You don't get on with your boss. That means that you're off course. It's not going right. And some people will keep doing the same thing repeatedly, keep getting into the same situation. They're off course. That's not what they should be. So feedback will let you know whether you're on course or off course. And there are many types of responses to feedback. And so, for example, some people, as soon as they get feedback from somebody, they accuse the person. So, for example, you're getting someone gives you this terrible negative feedback, and then you say, "Oh, I can't do anything right. Why do you always talk to me like that?" And you just get so defensive. Or you can just counterattack the other person. And I notice that a lot is that as soon as someone gives you negative feedback, you say, well, you are not so perfect yourself. So why are you talking to me like that? But know that feedback is just feedback. And just because you get feedback doesn't mean that you have failed. In fact, fail is first attempt in learning. There's no such thing as failure. And just remember that there's always feedback. There's no such thing as bad feedback. It just is feedback. And when someone gives you feedback, all you do is say, thank you for the feedback. And you move on. Don't take it personally. Just say thank you. And that is our goal. We win the cup. Yes. I wonder who's the FA. Someone used to tell me who won the FA Cup last time. Was it Arsenal? Because they're my team. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Whoa. Catherine, thank you so much. You know, I've been taking notes. I didn't even notice that you have stopped, and I'm still writing. I'm still writing and writing and writing and taking notes. Oh, that was very good. And actually, for all those on this call, you want to go and listen back again, because I just decided that I'm going to go back and listen again and again and again and again. Great stuff there. Great stuff there. I mean, I told you, I don't make mistakes. I am very perfect for bringing you those perfect speakers and teachers.
We should
I
just
don't
say
make mistakes.
feedback.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm going to go, and I can see a lot of comments already coming up. So I'll quickly go through the comments. All right. So we have a few people who join later. Stephen Amwako join. Hajia, Alima, Sakito is here. All right. And she says, it is true that most of us growing up never knew what we want due to our training. The current youth is better than before. Woo! Maybe Catherine will tell us if the young people she's meeting these days are better than before. All right. Thank you so much for that comment. Dennis is here. And Haja adds that communicate your goals with smart intentions. All right, that's good. Now, Kwame Essien joining us from the US. Dr. Kwame Essien says, great presentation. I'm glad that the so-called witches and demons are illiterate or can't understand why it's important to write down goals in journals. Some of them can read though. Catherine, can some of them read your goals? Thank you so much. All right, people. So go ahead. Don't forget to share the pages and go and register for Put Your Dream to the Test. Okay. Jerry Boachi says, great presentation. And Efia says, that was very insightful. Thank you for sharing. Great presentation. So feedback right there, Catherine. Not many questions, but ladies and gentlemen, please share your experience. Have you been setting goals? Have you been able to achieve them? What have you learned from sharing your goals and setting them? How do you achieve your goals? We are all learning together, so please feel free to share your thoughts here. Now, Catherine will come back. So, Kofi, let's share the video on Put Your Dream to the Test, and we're encouraging all of you. We're starting the first set on Monday, and we're having 3 nights of learning on dreams. And these ideas that Catherine have shared with us are going to serve us, but we're going to go a bit more deeper. We're going to try to kick your dreams and help you to put your dreams in a shape, ask all the relevant questions to be able to address them. Kofi, let's go.
Do you have a dream? Do you have a vision? Do you have a goal for your life? And will your goal be realized? What do you need to realize it? Is the goal your own? Have you counted the costs of that goal? Do you know what you need to be able to achieve that goal? Do you really want to be successful at achieving that goal? My name is Samuel Ayim, CEO of the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, and I personally want to invite you to our upcoming masterclass, Put Your Dream to the Test. It's a set of questions that we're going to give you answers to ahead concerning your vision, your dream, so that you are sure that your vision and your dream will be achieved. Make a date with us and register, because it's going to give you the resources, the ideas, the tools that will ensure that your dreams don't remain as dreams, your goals don't remain as goals, but that they are achievable. Make a date with us, register now for our masterclass, and you will not regret it.
All right. Thank you, Kofi. And I want to encourage you to register. We have our links on our website, on our social media, everywhere. And we have 3 slots for you. We have um, 1 slot in December from the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 3 nights. Every night we're going to spend 3 hours together. And so we're spending 9 hours in total with you to be able to go through your dream. And we're going to give you some material that will help you to be able to go through your dream to realize your dreams. And it's only 400 Ghana cedis for the whole program. So make a date, register, and join us. Last year when we did it, lots of people who went through that program have really very positive feedback. So I want to thank you. If you will join us, we would appreciate. Now, Catherine, there are a couple of things that have come up, and I want to see if you have quick reactions before. And Fia is asking, how do I stay consistent doing affirmations? I usually start well, but then I fall off the wagon at some point. So, Catherine, you want to share? And thank you so much for sharing your personal goals with us, how you got yourself, slimmed down from whatever to the amazing one that we are seeing now. And we'll see you at 70 when you get to that, you know, dream shape. Okay.
Wow. Okay, so that's a great question, Ifya, and I was hoping you wouldn't ask that question. So there are 2 things. If you're not staying consistent with your affirmation, first of all, is your goal really your goal? Is it something that you really, really want? And if it is, and you're not doing it, don't forget that it takes at least 45 days for a new habit to form. And what happens oftentimes is that, our brains do not like change. And they're wired to keep us safe. So what happens is that your brain is just going to work against you, and you're not going to embed a new habit. So my invitation to you, and I'm your accountability partner, is that we include your affirmation journey in our as part of our accountability calls, because the only way is having someone keep you accountable is the only way. So I have my journal, and it has 8 affirmations, but don't forget that it takes at least 45 days for a habit to cement. Once you can get past that 45 days, you ought to be fine. And please add it to our accountability course, and I shall hold you accountable. And just remember, don't have too many affirmations. It's better to have a few that you say regularly than to have many that you don't say, that you don't repeat.
Great. Thank you so much. Now, Catherine, you talked quite a bit about writing your goals. A lot of the time, what we do is that, we know what we want to do, and we know what we want. We just have not written it down, but we are working towards it. What's wrong with that?
Sam, there's something about neuroscience and the mind that shows that when you write these goals down, and research has shown that writing it down keeps it in forefront of your mind. And so, yes, you know what you want in your head, but unless you write it down and commit it to paper, it's not really there. It's just still something in your head. So somehow the action of your brain actually taking time to write it down. And I used to carry mine around on cards like this, because it's found that when you write things down, it's actually better than typing them. So there's nothing wrong with that. But if you really want to achieve your goals, write them down, commit them to paper, carry them around where you can see them, and you are more likely to achieve your goal.
All right. Thank you so much. Then there is this, I want to come back to this point about
Sorry,
sharing.
Sam,
Yes.
just one thing. The Bible says, write the vision and make it plain, right?
Yeah.
Write
Yeah.
the vision and even the Bible tells us to write down our goals. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, back to the issue of sharing your vision. Apart from our village witches, who sometimes would eat away our visions and Dr. Asian says that they are illiterate, so they can't read. When we write them, hopefully they won't read. But there is also the fear that I have a vision, I have a project in mind that I want to do, that somebody is going to steal my ideas. What do you say to that?
So, Sam, what I say is that God doesn't only give one person an idea.
Okay.
He gives the idea to many, many people. It's whoever runs with the idea that gets it. So the person may not necessarily be stealing your idea, because trust me, there've been so many people that have done things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had that idea. Why didn't I do it? And I'm sure you have too. So God gives
Absolutely.
many people the same idea. He's the person that's going to execute it. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, if someone really, really, really does steal your idea, they don't have your blueprint, and they will never do it the way you did it, because it's not their vision. So they'll mess it up and they won't succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. I asked this because I work for EcoBank, and when our then CEO, who transformed the group, came on board, he did his first strategy document. And when we went to the board was saying, oh, this is good, but you guys, you have to keep this, you have to put it under lock and key, let nobody see it. In fact, they insisted that when we're going for the board meeting, that the copies of the strategy document were numbered. So you have number one, and it's printed on the document, every page, that number. So if per chance one of those pages went out, we know who leaked that strategy. Initially, the boss was a bit hesitant but they were still insisting. And said, Sam, I want to do this for them, but honestly, actually, I can put this strategy on the internet. I can put this document out there, but nobody knows how we will implement it. I mean, so and by the time we're running and getting this bank across Africa, he kept saying, we are 10 years ahead of the market. They don't know what we are doing. But everybody knew that you needed to have branches in other countries, yes. But the way to implement your vision would actually be different. And you're right. If God has given you the vision and you are the one to implement it, he'll give you the resources to be able to do it. If you're not, then maybe you're not the right person. Maybe you were just supposed to inform the other person to do it. Maybe that was just your role. So thank you very, very much. Let me just go back and see if there are other comments and questions coming up. But by the way, I have Sarah also on the line. I hope she's still there. Sarah, are you still there? I cannot see you. Oh, Sarah is there. Oh, yes, the youngest old lady on the platform. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for that compliment of the old lady.
I can tell you she's the youngest, and I won't tell her age. Everybody will understand. Thank you, Sarah.
That
All
was
right,
a
so
goal
Sarah.
that was a goal I wrote, to stay young forever. Okay.
Ah,
I love
look,
that.
you've achieved it already, so you can continue.
Yeah. No, actually, Catherine, thank you so much. This is so true. And I really love what you said about sharing your goal. And if you remember, I think about 3 months ago, you and I were on a call, and I did tell you that I wanted to have 5 projects in 6 months' time. And I wrote it down and I shared it with Catherine. And guys, I must tell you that it hasn't been 6 months, it's only been 3 months, and I've hit 4 of the goals.
Wow.
So that's Catherine is saying, yes, put it out there, share it, and the universe, or I will say God, will bring people your way to make your dream come true. The goals, not even dream, but the goals come true. So please write it down. Please share it. The witches will not know. The witches will even bring people your way to help you to achieve it. So I can testify to that. It works.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so happy to hear this.
Thank you,
Oh,
Sarah, for sharing that. But Catherine, there's another dimension because I'm working with a lot of young people, Ghanaians and Africans, and they they're worried that, I mean, their focus is, yes, I want to do that, I want to be that, but there's nobody to help me. The system doesn't work. There's no opportunities to get this thing. Why should I be thinking so big? Even the small ones that I'm thinking, nobody is helping me to achieve them. I mean, how do we help these young people think differently about these things and believe that they can still dream big and they can still achieve it?
so the question is, and it's a thing that people ask me all the time. And you and I and Sarah Jesse will know that it's all about your attitude, because there have been people who have come from nowhere that have made it, right? And when we say there's no one to help, there's always someone, somewhere, something. They may not necessarily help you with money, but they may give you a book. They may pay for you to go on a seminar. It's all about attitude. Most people just give up and stop. Like, I've helped so many people set up businesses, and some, they don't get past anywhere because there's a mindset that we can't succeed. Whatever you think about, you bring about. And I remember when I first started my business, Sam, because I'm not a lawyer, I'm a governance professional. Everyone told me it wouldn't succeed. They said, "Oh, in Ghana, only lawyers do that kind of work. You can't be a company secretary without being a lawyer." But I persisted, and we're still standing, right? So it's a
Yeah,
bit of a mindset. What you think is you're going to bring about. But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
reorienting the
Yeah,
mindset.
yeah, thank you so much because that is very important about the mindset, and you talk something about the subconscious mind, which I believe so many of us have been programmed in our mind to defeat ourselves. And so, like you talk about the reverse, consciousness, so deep down within our subconsciousness, we've programmed ourselves that we can't succeed. We need a white man. We need somebody from somewhere. And that kind of programming actually negates anything that our conscious mind begins to think about. And
Correct.
I believe that is one of the areas where we need to help people quite a bit.
Hmm. Absolutely, Sam. And it's about taking 100% responsibility for our lives. No complaining, no blaming, no excuse making. Honestly, Sam, I truly believe that if we were every single day to take 5 steps towards our goal, eventually we will achieve it. And the thing is, well, is that, when people say, "Oh, there's no one to help me," what is the attitude? We're teaching leadership, we're teaching influence. If this person has a very bad attitude, no one is going to want to help them. So sometimes it's also, why is it that successful people attract people that just want to help them? Because they've worked on themselves. Why is it that we all want to help you sell lead to live to lead tickets, Sam?
Absolutely, and you are my greatest salesperson on Live to Lead every
I used
year.
to
Thank
be.
you
I used to
for
be.
that.
I used to be.
No,
But I shall overcome next year. Next year.
yes, yes. No, but I think I mean, and I want to. We are discussing this because this is something that I think a lot of people need to understand, that your
Mm,
attitude is so important. And
mm,
we also need to have a mindset that says there's abundance. There are things out there. There are people out there who
mm,
will be able to help us. A lot of us have a lot of, a poverty mentality. Our minds are limited. There's too little for us. Nobody can help us. There's nothing in Ghana. But since immemorial, the Europeans have come here, developed their continent from here. The Americans have done so. Right before our eyes, the Chinese are developing their country from Africa. They're taking everything. And we are just the only ones who are saying there's nothing here.
mm, mm,
So in my, that is something that I think when you shared, I thought it was really, really powerful that, we need to emphasize it to our people to know that, look, think big,
mm,
believe in yourself,
mm,
don't limit yourself,
mm,
take the steps and you can really, really achieve them. Thank you so much for that. I don't know if Sarah has some comments.
mm.
Yes, I believe so. But my question is, So what will be the first step if I have this poverty mindset? What will be the first step for me to take?
Well, personally, I believe is in reprogramming the mind. So if I believe that there's a poverty mindset, so let's say, for example, what is it that you want to achieve? So something that I say to myself every day, is that I'm living in when when I get a bill and I have to pay the bill, and it's hurting me, like, I live in an abundant universe and there's plenty more for me. And I constantly say that I actually really believe it.
Mm-hmm. So
So
affirmations.
affirmations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And I can see some person over there or a comment about feedback.
Mm.
Yes, Felix Mani says, I have learned that feedback is not personal. Learn the lesson from feedback and grow from here. All right. So I have one more question for you, Catherine. I mean, you started by saying, and I agree with you, that the first thing you should ask is, what do you want? Now, many of us don't know what we want, as you have told us. So I don't know what I want. And I've had so many people and they are saying, oh, maybe I want a job. What job do you want? He says, anything. I said, come and help me clean my house. Then they said, no, but I can't clean your house. We know a lot of the time what we don't want, but we don't know what we want. So
Yeah.
help us. How do we determine what we really want? Is there a process? Is there a way that can help us determine what we really want?
Sam, I think it first of all starts with honoring your small preferences. So, for example, if I tried this the other day. I was on a flight coming to England, and there's a particular seat that I like, and it was empty. And so when the cabin crew went around, and I said, you know what? I really like that seat. Can I have it? And they're like, okay. They could have said no, but it's just about honoring the small things. Like if someone says, oh, what would you like to eat? We have this habit of, oh, let's make things easy for someone, right? So what would you like to anything? But first of all, let's state what we really want to eat. So start with the small things, start with honoring the small things. And the truth is that we really do know I think somewhere inside, deep inside us, we do know what we want, but we're too afraid to go for it. So my father, like the 4 occupations in Ghana, right? There's engineer, lawyer, doctor of his grades. Okay. So my father wanted me to be a lawyer. Hey, I started off at law school. It wasn't for me. So within 6 months, I dropped out because I knew then enough that it wasn't aligned with my values. I truly believe that just honor the small preferences. What do you want to eat? Don't just say anything, right? Once you start making those little things a habit, then you'll start noticing the real things, the bigger things that you really want.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. I also like this Jesus principle of ask,
Yeah,
no,
ask.
research, and ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock, and sometimes, maybe ask people. Okay, discuss with people, talk to people where you are, and sometimes it's just deep down you don't know how to formulate what you want. So maybe talking to people, asking people, sometimes, like you said, reading, and things like that can also help you to understand, because in our culture we're not trained to express our feelings, and even now I don't know how to express how I feel fully. Okay. And so that is sometimes a constraint, which is a cultural thing. There's it's a limitation.
It's not just a cultural thing. I think it's everywhere because we're taught to repress our emotions. So, for example, one thing that I've started doing as I've grown older and I'm more personal development, now I cry a lot more because crying, seriously, crying is a release of emotion. And once we can start feeling emotion, then we can start really knowing what it is that we want. So it's everywhere. We numb ourselves against things. So yeah, in fact, there was something else that I wanted to add onto that about the asking, right, about knowing what you want, some feedback. So I've
Yeah.
been in some business deals, and I've been like, I don't really know, but there's something in my spirit, in my stomach, that I just feel, or I feel some pain, knowing that this thing is not right. That's feedback, but we don't
Mm-hmm.
listen.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Mm-hmm.
listen. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
maybe we don't know what we want, but when we start, we'll get feedback that will let us know that we're off track.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. That's great. And that goes to the point of spending time with yourself, reflecting a bit on yourself. There's so much noise around us, guys, and life is so fast. You talk about, and we all victims of gadgets today, our phones, email, Twitter, whatever. So I think we need to be consciously, as part of our goal setting, create time for ourselves to think and reflect upon our lives, where we're going, and so on. And I believe that that process of self-reflection should be able to help us also determine what we want. Do you think so?
Absolutely. You cannot, you cannot not be a leader without that. And I think there's something that John Maxwell says, isn't there? I can't remember. The rule of five: every day he thinks, he reads, he writes, he files, he asks questions.
Mm-hmm.
Critical. And you see, John Maxwell practices that rule of five every single day. He does five things towards his
Mm-hmm.
goal. He reads, he writes, he thinks, he files, he asks questions. It's critical. If we don't have that thinking space, we cannot achieve our goals either.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Good. Thank you so much. I don't see any comments or questions, unless I have skipped some that I didn't.
No, you
Um,
did. You got all through. You got
I
through all.
got everything. All
You're
right,
there.
guys. Thank you so much. And Catherine, really, I mean, this is a great subject, and you've dealt with it very well, opening our minds. But we want to encourage you guys. We have more time to discuss this on Put Your Dream to the Test um, next week, and the first 2 weeks in January, because this is the time that you're thinking and reflecting on your life, and you're setting goals. And I'm going to share this, and I'm going to put under it, you must watch this before you set your goals for 2022. This
Yeah.
presentation is a must watch before you set your goals. So share it with your friends, share it with your colleagues. Look, don't hoard this. This is not something you hoard. This is something you share. Please share it freely. So thank you so much. So I would come back to you, Catherine, to give us your closing thoughts, your closing remarks. Yeah, I know you've
Wow.
shared enough, but what do you want us to go and sleep with? Last words. Anything.
What I really want people to go and sleep with is that know that nobody is responsible for you, and you are responsible for yourself, and that whatever seed is inside you is just waiting to be born. So give birth to your dreams, set your goals, and you know what, even if you don't achieve them, the person that you will become in the process will be, you will change in the process, and you won't even recognize yourself. So yeah, so go for it. And of course, you can contact me on Twitter at Catherine Engmann, on LinkedIn at Catherine Engmann, Facebook, Instagram. Just send me a DM and I'll be happy to talk to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Catherine. And indeed, you can contact Catherine, whenever I'm thinking through, I call her, we talk a lot.
I'm
And she's,
laughing because I know you can never reach me. You and Sarah just
no, but we will reach you. Don't worry. So please contact her. A great coach. She has tools, systems to help you all the way. Please look. The people we bring on this platform are people who can really help you, and they have a heart for people. They love people. They have invested so much in themselves, and they want to just share that value with you, and they want to make you more valuable. They want to invest in you. So please feel free to reach out to Catherine. If you can't reach her, just reach out to me. I will connect you. uh, Thank you, everybody. And on that note, we want to thank all of you. We want to thank God for helping us through these beautiful lessons. And we want to wish all of you a very, very good night, and go to church tomorrow and have a good week. Thank you again, Catherine. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Kofi, for being there. Thank you, Mami, for connecting on the Facebook with us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Diane, and all the others who join us. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Catherine, just wait 1 minute.
Do you have a dream? Do you have a vision? Do you have a goal for your life? And will your goal be realized? What do you need to realize it? Is the goal your own? Have you counted the costs of that goal? Do you know what you need to be able to achieve that goal? Do you really want to be successful at achieving that goal? My name is Samuel Ayim, CEO of the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, and I personally want to invite you to our upcoming masterclass, Put Your Dream to the Test. It's a set of questions that we're going to give you answers to ahead concerning your vision, your dream, so that you are sure that your vision and your dream will be achieved. Make a date with us and register, because it's going to give you the resources, the ideas, the tools that will ensure that your dreams don't remain as dreams, your goals don't remain as goals, but that they are achievable. Make a date with us, register now for our masterclass, and you will not regret it.